Coming up on WTOL 11, the government has entered a partial government shutdown after failing to agree on a funding bill. We'll tell you what's still open in just a few minutes. And a bomb cyclone is hitting the East Coast. We'll tell you how a storm system over 700 miles away is impacting the weather right here in Toledo. Well, welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Michael Sandlin. Thank you so much for joining us on your Saturday evening. We'll get to all those top stories and more in just a moment. But first, let's bring in meteorologist John Birchfield. John, it has been a very, very cold end to January. Are we going to keep seeing this chilly weather continue for the rest of the weekend, or maybe is there going to be a little bit of relief?
A little improvement, Michael. Temperatures near 20 tomorrow. I know it's not a warm up, but at least better than today. And hey, the sun is going to be back, so it'll be brighter, but still cold. The morning is going to be frigid. So if you're heading out for that walk to start the day, bundle up with low temperatures near zero. It's been a bleak and overcast day. Temperatures in the teens. Not much of a wind chill factor with a relatively still breeze, and an Arctic high still dominating our weather pattern. Meanwhile, that strong area of low pressure that Michael mentioned now impacting the Atlantic seaboard from Virginia down into the Carolinas. I'll break down some more impacts of that coming up in just a bit. Let's start off though with your Sunday forecast. Brighter skies into the afternoon. High temperatures closer to 20 degrees, so at least some improvement. I'm going to break down your full 10-day weather forecast in just a bit.
And Boy Scouts braved those cold temperatures today at Camp Miaconda in West Toledo, learning essential winter survival skills. Dominique O'Neill caught up with some of the scouts to see them in action and pick up some of those skills. Dom, what did you learn?
Well, Michael, despite the cold temperatures, more than 70 scouts at Camp Miaconda spent the day outside learning how to safely camp in winter weather. Leaders say the goal is to teach preparedness, resilience, and teamwork. Even when temperatures drop, I spoke with the scout leader who explained that safety is their top priority. Campers are taught how to dress in layers, stay dry, and recognize the signs of cold-related illnesses like frostbite.
So we have different things inside, like we have an indoor archery. It's an inflatable archery thing. That was something new this year, different from the past. We had that inside, so it kept some scouts inside to maybe keep them warmer, to not get cold from being outside all day.
Throughout the day, scouts participated in more than a dozen activities, including outdoor games, skill-building exercises, and survival lessons focused on staying warm in harsh conditions. Leaders say frequent warm-up breaks, proper gear, and close supervision help ensure everyone stays safe during their visit. Reporting in the studio, Dominique O'Neill, WTOL 11.
All right, thank you, Dom. I need a very thick jacket to do some of that. Well, a longtime treasurer for a local Boy Scout troop is now facing charges of theft. This comes after White House police say he stole thousands out of the troop's bank account, allegedly using their popcorn money for his own ends. Selling popcorn is a Boy Scout tradition as old as the group itself. Often the money goes to new uniforms or experiences for the Scouts. But in the case of Scout Troop 97, it allegedly lined the pockets of their treasurer, Donald Marion, instead.
So the grand total loss to the Scout Troop is about $22,500.
That's Captain Brad Baker with White House PD. He's been keeping tabs on the case since the two Scoutmasters first came to the station, showing over 2 years of inconsistencies with their scouting account. Captain Baker says initially they didn't even think Marion was responsible. They thought he might have been a victim too.
Well, we had been told by the Scoutmasters that he had been the victim of a possible financial scam himself. And so they thought maybe it was a byproduct of that. So the investigating officer just wanted to go out and talk to him to see what information he could provide. And in doing so, that's when Mr. Marion was very forthcoming and told the investigating officer that he had been taking money from that account.
According to Captain Baker, Marion was trying to keep his head above water financially.
He has his own private company, and there were some financial issues that were affecting it. So he was taking the money from the Scouts account to kind of make up for those losses in his personal company's account.
Property records show Marion does own a casting business out in Weston. And in his testimony to police, Marion admitted it had, quote, fallen on hard times. Court documents obtained by WTOL 11 also show he owed hundreds of thousands in debt.
He was very cooperative. He understands that what he did was wrong.
With Captain Baker's words in mind, I decided to head to his home to get Marion's side of the story. While he wasn't home, his wife did answer the door, saying while she didn't recognize the behavior of the man she married, after 44 years, they can work through anything. But for all the scouts who worked hard to earn all of that money, it's not clear if they're going to get it back.
I'm sure through the courts there are going to be restitution. How much of that Mr. Marion is able to pay back, I'm not sure. And I don't know how else they're going to be able to cover those losses.
Now, Marion has been charged with theft, but his case was dismissed in Maumee Municipal Court on Thursday. We reached out to the Maumee prosecutor to learn more, but so far we haven't heard back. Now, a parent reached out to us saying the troop could run out of money by the fall, and they're facing possible bankruptcy. While Congress has already approved funding for most major agencies through September 30th, the government has entered a partial shutdown this weekend. The shutdown is considered partial because disruptions are expected at agencies like the Department of Defense, Treasury, TSA, and FEMA, where some federal employees could be furloughed or required to work without pay. Airports remain open, but many workers may go without a paycheck until transportation funding is restored. ICE and Customs and Border Protection will continue operating under funding approved last July. A short-term funding bill is now headed back to the House, including a 2-week extension for Homeland Security, though it is unclear if lawmakers will pass it when they meet on Monday. The first week of jury selection for the Dale Warner murder trial wrapped up yesterday. Warner's accused of murdering his wife, Dee Warner, and tampering with evidence. This week, 142 jurors were questioned, with over 75% deemed not fit to serve in the jury for the trial for various reasons. The court is attempting to gather 12 jurors and 4 alternates before the trial's start date of February 10th. Plus, watch the Hidden in Plain Sight, The Disappearance and Discovery of Dee Warner special, and you can watch a recap of the first week of jury selection for Dale Warner's murder trial. That's only on WTOL 11+ and over on our YouTube page. Findlay will be looking for a new chief of police this year. The current chief, James Mathias, is retiring in June. According to the city of Findlay, Mathias was with the police department for 31 years and was named chief in 2023. Mathias served in multiple roles, including a field training officer and a patrol lieutenant. A Pemberville business held its 8th annual Sampling Saturday. Customers got a chance to enjoy some free eats from local vendors. Beaker's General Store on the corner of Water and East Front Street was swarming today for Sampling Saturday. The store was filled with trays of jams, fresh popcorn, root beer, and much more. Everything was locally sourced, with owners from several small businesses on hand to let customers sample their products. Beaker's owner Todd Sheets says the idea for the event has always been about the community.
One of our staff, we were brainstorming how do we get people back in the store after Christmas. We realize people don't have as much money and we like, oh, they eat. And so we have a lot of unique food products, food lines, a lot of product from Amish country. We try to source local, not only here in Ohio, Michigan, neighboring states.
There was also food right next door at the Gathering Place, which is also managed by Beakers. The building served as the kitchen too, where some of the food was made hot and ready for customers to enjoy. A massive winter storm is slamming the Northeast. The Carolinas are expecting multiple years' worth of snow over the weekend. More than 2,300 flights have been canceled as of this afternoon. That's according to FlightAware. The heavy snow and fierce winds come as millions of Americans are dealing with brutally cold temperatures and still digging out from last week's historic winter storm. Jen Sullivan has details on the latest winter blast.
What are we doing? North Carolina being slammed with a monster winter storm.
This one's going to be a big one. I think this is one that we haven't seen since the 1980s.
Greenville's mayor says the eastern part of the state could see up to 14 inches of snow. This system already causing treacherous conditions on the roads. This train colliding with the semi in Gastonia, about 20 miles west of Charlotte. Fortunately, no one was hurt.
I hope everybody stays safe.
More than 27 million people across the Southeast, Mid-Atlantic, and Appalachians are under winter storm warnings. And at least 4 states have declared a state of emergency.
This is crazy.
As this storm strengthens into what's known as a bomb cyclone, it's expected to move north and unleash hurricane-force wind gusts, heavy snow, and dangerous coastal flooding.
The Outer Banks gusting up to 70 miles an hour, so we could see whiteout conditions here.
This comes as much of the country is facing brutally cold temperatures. Check out deserted Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, courtesy of EarthCam. It's so cold there, the city canceled its annual polar plunge event. Even Orlando could see temperatures below freezing. With temps that low, officials at SeaWorld say some of the rides can't operate because the wheels aren't built for this kind of cold.
It actually gets a little tighter when it's cold. It has more friction and slows the vehicle down.
All of this coming as millions are still recovering from last weekend's catastrophic and deadly winter storm. Jen Sullivan, WTOL 11 on Plus.
And because of the effects we're feeling from the last winter storm and now from the bomb cyclone on the East Coast, not wanting to get out of the house is becoming a common feeling. Reporter Faith Sahowski takes us through how snag delivery drivers deal with the blistering cold out in BG.
If you live in Bowling Green, you've probably seen snag delivery drivers. Despite the snow and ice we've had lately, deliveries don't stop for them. They call it a convenience store on wheels, but when it's this cold, every ride comes with a challenge. One driver I spoke with says layering is the key, and as long as it's a little bit above zero, it's bearable. He knows that unlike a car, a scooter exposes you to all the elements, every snowflake, every gust of wind. But orders don't slow down. In fact, they pick up in the winter because everyone else wants to stay warm inside. The general manager of the Bowling Green store told me they average about 150 orders per day, and on the weekends that goes up to 200 orders per day. They say safety comes first, and if the conditions allow, they'll keep bundling up and rolling along for more deliveries.
Weather-wise, the cold is here to stay for the rest of the weekend, but the sunshine is going to be much brighter heading into your Sunday. More sun, morning temperatures near 0 degrees, so it is going to be a frigid start to the day. In the afternoon, turning brighter with high temperatures at least improving to around 20 degrees. Over the course of your Saturday evening, we've only been in the mid-teens, and that is largely thanks to the gloomy clouds that are keeping those temperatures from rising at all. There hasn't been much of a wind chill factor, although certainly more of a breeze. Winds coming in from the north today, and we've seen winds of about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So a little bit of a breeze, but not too much of a wind chill. It feels like it is still in the single digits in Toledo as well as Findlay and Napoleon, although there's not going to be much wind into your Sunday. High pressure to the northwest of us is going to deliver more sunshine, but that Arctic high also keeping temperatures well below average, and that strong winter storm system impacting the Carolinas and Virginia, a bomb cyclone. Essentially, that means a rapidly intensifying storm system, and it often comes with powerful winds. Winter storm warnings for the entire North Carolina and South Carolina states down into Georgia as well. So the hour by hour on this storm, the snow itself is going to move off coast, but some of those winds are going to be impacting Cape Cod, just barely clipping the state of Massachusetts. Next in line, up towards Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, seeing some of the snowy impacts as well as the winds as that system eventually moves out to sea. So when do we see our next snow chance? Tomorrow's going to be brighter. Monday, there is going to be a quick moving warm front that brings us a dusting to up to half an inch of snowfall. And then into Tuesday and Wednesday, still chilly, but at least some progress being made in the temperature department. So let's time out those snow showers. Brighter sunshine is expected for your Sunday. That Arctic high is going to keep things cold, but more sunny into the weekend. That warm front's going to be moving in right around daybreak Monday morning. There could be a batch of some light snow showers, leaving behind some very minor accumulations between, say, 7 o'clock a.m. and 11 o'clock a.m. Snow showers going to be moving to the east of us into the afternoon, and it is just going to be a mostly cloudy, not quite as cold day with temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. So how much snow are we expecting? Very, very little, right around half an inch or so for the Toledo metro. Areas west of I-75 could see a little more than half an inch, and generally east of I-75, that warm front is going to be weakening, at least in terms of the snow that it produces, with a quarter to up to half an inch out towards the lake shore and right along I-75. Now, we do have some signs of progress in the temperature department, but overall, it is still going to be much colder than average into the first week of February. Now, we have officially left the winter bottom, meaning our average high is starting to go up, and our normal high is now 35. So we are going to stay considerably colder than that normal of 35 for the first week or two of February. A 30% chance of light snow on Monday. Temperatures staying chilly through midweek. After that, we are monitoring a potential storm system on Friday. That's going to come along with the potential for accumulations as well as windy weather for your Friday, and the tail end of the forecast is expected to turn colder again into next weekend, with those temperatures only reaching the mid-teens Saturday and Sunday.